Hi, I'm Kathy Curry. I'm the City Councillor for Kanata North. And I tell you, not a day goes by where people don't ask me a question of this variation. Are you trying to save a private golf course? And I say, no. I'm definitely not trying to save a private golf course. I'm trying to get a community their park back. So I thought it might be helpful for me to do a quick video to explain exactly what I'm talking about and why the community has been fighting this to get their park back for over 7 years. So I'm not an artist, but here's a general map of Kanata Beaverbrook, Kanata Lakes, which was phase 1 back in the day. And to orient you, this is Campo Drive along the bottom. So in around 1980, developers came to the city of Kanata's government and asked, could they have an urban boundary extension? At that point, there was only Beaverbrook. So the developer said, can we develop more and build out the west side of Beaverbrook and create a community called Kanata Lakes? So that entailed that they were given an urban boundary extension. So the government at the time, the mayor was Mary Ann Wilkinson, they thought about it and they said, okay, we could do that, but we currently have in the area to the west of Beaverbrook, we have a 9-hole golf course right here, 9 holes of golf. So how will this work? And so between the government and the developers, they decided that this 9-hole golf course and land beside it would be the 40% parkland dedication land for this new development called Kanata Lakes, right? So this would be the 40% parkland dedication. Now, in order to make this work, they had to draw up an agreement, write up a contract. And that contract said that the golf course and this other land, which happened to be rocky and difficult to develop, it would be, and it also had a big beaver pond here, it would be the parkland dedication, but the golf could continue. And the golf could continue for as long as the golf was to continue. But as soon as the golf course stopped operating, the city would get back this land, because it was the parkland dedication, for $1. That's what the city would get back. And then the city, of course, would take it over and create a park. So the community, though, said, well, that might take a long time, right? So what about us having a park? And so the city said, okay, well, let's make sure we write into that agreement that in the winter time, the community can use the park. So they would basically have a winter park. So the golf would shut down and then the community could come onto this land and use it as a winter park. And they did that for 40 years. They snowshoed, they skied, they tobogganed, and this was their winter park. All was going very well. So when they built Kanata Lakes, the developers, they built beautiful homes. It's a lovely place. This is just phase 1. They only built little pocket parks everywhere because they knew that one day this would be the massive central park that would then go back to the community for the entire season, not just for the winter. So that was great. Everyone was happy with that. They got their winter park, and then the golf course ownership changed hands. And they also had developed it to be 18 holes. So there was another 9 holes here. So the golf course ended up being expanded, but the contract remained. The new owner, ClubLink, Morguard is the parent company of ClubLink, they looked at this contract that was written back in the 1980s and said, your contract could be broken. We could take the city to court and indicate to the city that, no, in fact, this was always to be houses. That's what it was to be. That's what they thought the contract actually said. So the frustration for this community is only with the new owners. And the new owners took the city to court, and as you know, over 7 years, the courts decided that, yeah, the contract did have a little problem with it, and they decided that there could be houses built there. The community, though, has no park. The city, in all of the 40 years, designed this area to take all the stormwater because they knew it would always be a park. They had the land, the water from Campo Drive drain onto this, all the houses from Kanata Lakes drain into it and to the beaver pond. Beaverbrook's watershed drains to it. this was the plan, because everyone knew it was going to be the park. Then, on the other side of Campo Drive, all this forest was cut down. And then all the forest up above this area was cut down. And indeed, 988 acres of forest were cut down. 988 acres of forest in these two parcels, because they knew this would always be a huge central green space and the public park for these both communities, really, Beaverbrook and Kanata Lakes. So when people ask me, are you trying to save a private golf course? Maybe you can appreciate the frustration I have. I am not trying to save a private golf course. I am trying to get this community their park back, which they deserve. In many ways, this was a double cross by the developers. Everyone who sat at that table all those years ago, they knew what the agreement meant, what it said, and what was intended. And the city has lost, and the community has lost. And the developers not only got this urban boundary extension, they now have gotten this land back that they had put forward as the 40% parkland dedication. It's unfair and it's not right. And we will continue until this city and this town gets their park back.